How do you know the things you know? Not the facts themselves. The knowing. Because when you look closely at what happens inside a person the moment they know something, it isn't one thing. It's three. And they don't run on the same machinery. They don't arrive at the same speed. And this is the part that matters now. A machine has learned to imitate two of them and cannot touch the third. Here are the three. The first is instinct, knowing by reflex. The answer that's already happened before you were aware of deciding. The second is intellect, knowing by reasoning. The answer you build in steps, out in the open, and can explain to someone else. The third is intuition, knowing by a leap. The answer that's certain and correct, and that you cannot, for the life of you, show your work for. Instinct and intellect, a machine can now wear almost perfectly. Intuition is the line it can't cross. Let me take them one at a time, because the examples carry this better than any definition. Instinct. Your hand is resting on a stovetop you believe is cold, and it isn't. Before you feel the heat, before the word hot has formed anywhere in your mind, your hand is already 6 inches away. The decision to move was made, executed, and finished before the part of you that says, I decided even got the message. That's knowing that lives below thought. It doesn't reason and it doesn't deliberate. It fires, because the pattern and the response are welded together with nothing in between. A baby's cry pulls a sleeping parent awake through a wall, while traffic outside the window doesn't move them at all. You didn't weigh those two sounds in the moment. Something underneath you weighed them years ago for good. And here is the uncomfortable part. This is the kind of knowing machines are best at. When a language model sees the words "the sky is" and produces blue, there's no thought in there, no consideration of the atmosphere. It's doing exactly what your hand did on the stove, responding to a pattern it has seen so many times. The response is automatic. Pattern in, response out, no deliberation. Instinct is just very deep pattern matching, and pattern matching is the one thing these systems were built to do. Intellect. This is the knowing you're proudest of, the one you can show your work for. 4 people at dinner, 1 bill, an 18% tip, and someone had too many drinks, so they should cover more. You don't have that answer welded into you. You build it, step by step, in the open. A doctor with a patient whose 3 symptoms don't obviously fit, walking through the possibilities one at a time, ruling things out, is doing the same thing. Deliberate, sequential, slow, and explainable. Because the steps are the whole point. For a long time, we told ourselves this was the citadel. Logic, analysis, working a problem through, this was the thing that made us different. It was not the citadel. Intellect is the part of us machines are climbing fastest because reasoning breaks down into legible steps, and legible steps are exactly what you can teach a system to carry out. Watch a modern model work a hard problem, and it lays out its steps, checks them, corrects itself, and reaches an answer it can account for. The same act as the doctor. Sometimes faster, sometimes across more possibilities than a person could hold at once. So the 2 kinds of knowing we understand best, the automatic and the reasoned, are both things a machine can do now. Which brings us to the one where the ground gives way. Intuition. In 1998, a researcher named Gary Klein published a study of how experts decide under pressure, and at the center of it is a fire commander. His crew is fighting what looks like a routine kitchen fire in an ordinary house. They're in the living room, hosing it down, and it should be working. It isn't. And the commander, unable to say why, is suddenly certain something is badly wrong. He orders every one of his men out of the building. Now, no explanation, because he doesn't have one. Moments after they clear the door, the floor they'd been standing on collapses. The fire hadn't been in the kitchen. It was in the basement, beneath them, which was why the room was strangely hot for the small fire they thought they were fighting, and strangely quiet, the roar muffled by the floor between them and it. He never consciously registered the heat or the silence. But something in him did. Something took in 100 small signals that didn't add up, and instead of a sentence, produced a feeling. Get out. That's intuition. And notice what it isn't. It isn't instinct. It's a judgment, not a reflex. And it isn't intellect. He can't show his work because there was no work in words. There was a leap from a situation he'd never been in before to a conclusion that saved 5 lives. Now the honest part, because the easy version of this argument is wrong, and you deserve the hard one. You might say, isn't that leap exactly what these systems do? When a chess engine feels a position is dangerous, or the program that mastered Go played a move so strange, the commentators called it a mistake, and it turned out to be brilliant. Wasn't that intuition? It looked like it. It looked like a machine knowing something it couldn't explain. Here's the difference, and everything rests on it. The machine's leap is built entirely out of the past. It has seen 10 billion games or 10 billion sentences, and what looks like insight is the system reaching into that library and pulling the pattern that fits. Astonishingly fast, and it can feel like magic, but it's interpolation. It's filling the space between examples it was already given. Human intuition includes the thing that is not in the library. The commander had never stood in that exact room over that exact fire. There was no matching case to retrieve. He made a judgment about a situation with no precedent. And that's a different act, even at the same speed. One is a very fast lookup. The other is a genuine step into the unknown. They look alike from the outside. They are not the same thing. So, the 3 together. Instinct is knowing by reflex, and a machine can do it because it's pattern welded to response. Intellect is knowing by reasoning, and a machine can do it because it steps end to end. Both, underneath, are processing, and processing is the whole of what a machine is. Intuition is the one that isn't processing. It's the leap that comes from being a living thing that has been in the world, with a body that registers heat it never consciously felt. You can't get there by seeing more examples, because the defining feature of the moment is that there was no example. We taught machines to imitate the 2 kinds of knowing we could explain to ourselves. The kind we could never quite explain turned out to be the kind that was hardest to give away. That's not a small leftover. It might be the most human thing we have.